If you're running ads to your Shopify store and you're getting clicks but making zero sales, stop blaming your product. Because if you picked your product using proper validation and your ads are getting people to click through to your store, then the problem isn't what you're selling. The problem is how you're selling it. And after helping over 4,000 students launch their stores, students who've collectively generated tens of millions of dollars, I've seen this pattern over and over again. Good products plus decent traffic, but terrible conversions. And this is usually caused by 1 to 4 things happening on your store that are silently costing you sales. Today, I'll show you exactly what they are and how to fix them right now. Reason number 1, your mobile experience is broken. According to 2025 industry insights, mobile now drives about 79% of traffic to Shopify stores. And Google found that 53% of mobile users abandon a site if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. Every extra second lowers conversions. If your pages are slow to load, you're not just annoying people, you're losing sales. And here's what it's really costing you. Let's say you spend $100 on ads, you get 100 clicks, and then let's say 70 of those people are landing on your store on their phones. If your mobile experience is broken, they bounce before they even see your product. So you just burnt $70 on wasted ad spend. But that's not the only cost. You're also losing the chance to retarget those people later. Because if they bounce instantly without engaging, Facebook's pixel doesn't collect enough data to put them in custom audiences. So you can't bring them back later with retargeting ads. That's potential future sales that are gone forever. And if that's not bad enough, you're also hurting your store's credibility because bouncers send signals to platforms like Facebook that your landing page is terrible. So your ads get penalized, your cost per click goes up while your reach goes down. So if your store doesn't work on mobile, you're seriously burning money on multiple fronts. To find out if mobile is indeed what's destroying your sales, let's do a live diagnostic test now. Pull out your phone, open your store, and add something to your cart. Doesn't matter what it is, just try to do the checkout process. Do this on an iPhone and an Android phone. So you want to go through the full process of the checkout, just like a customer would in the real world. Now, notice if everything is smooth or if the product pages are clunky. Do you have to wait longer than 3 seconds for images to load? Are you able to find the add to cart button easily, or does it disappear when you scroll? Can you go through the entire checkout process easily, or do you have to zoom in a lot to navigate your way around? This is actually where most people drop off. Notice how easy it is for you to fill out the payment form. There should be no tiny text boxes and no formatting issues. If any of these are happening, you've got a mobile problem. To fix these, there's a few things you could do. Number 1, compress your images. Your images should be under 200 kilobytes. You want to use tiny PNG or compress JPEG, and both of these are free. This speeds up your pages without losing quality. 2, turn on sticky add to cart. This keeps your add to cart button visible even when someone scrolls. Make sure it's enabled for both mobile and desktop. In the app vitals, go to sticky add to cart, then you want to turn on show mobile devices and set it to show when user scrolls past the add to cart button. Then test it a few times. When you scroll down your product page, that button should stick to the bottom of the screen. Next, make sure every button is big enough to tap with your thumb. Ideally, you don't have to zoom in to do this, because if someone has to pinch and zoom just to hit a button, then you're adding an extra hoop for them to jump over, aren't you? And your customers are impatient, right? They have other things on their mind. They're probably multitasking or distracted. So when we make selecting a product or checking out hard for them, then most people are going to just leave. Now check your page speed using Google Page Speed Insights. This is free. All you have to do is type in your store URL and it tells you exactly what's slowing things down and how to fix it. And most of the time it's images that are too big or apps. So fix these and you'll see results increase fast. Next, reduce unnecessary apps. Every app you install adds code to your store, and that code slows down load time. So go through your Shopify apps and turn off anything you're not actively using. Even if it's an app that's just sitting there, it's still adding weight. Keep only the essentials: reviews, email capture, and maybe one upsold app. Next, use lazy loading for images. This means images only load when someone scrolls to them instead of loading every image on the page at once. Most modern Shopify themes have this built in already, which is good, but if yours doesn't, you can enable it in your theme settings or use an app like TinyIMG. Then enable accelerated mobile pages if your theme supports it. Some Shopify themes have AMP support, and this creates stripped down versions of your page that load almost instantly on mobile. Check your theme documentation. If it's available, turn it on. Lastly, test checkout on several devices with different operating systems. Go and grab an iPhone and an Android phone. Go through the entire checkout flow on each of these devices. Even do the same on tablets. You want to make sure every field is easy to tap. Also, that complete order button should be obvious and accessible. And if you spot issues, adjust your checkout settings in Shopify, or you can use a checkout customization app. If your customer's mobile experience is broken, then nothing else matters. People won't stick around long enough to see your trust signals or even read your product descriptions. This is why inside Ecom Warrior Academy, the custom theme that we give students is already built for mobile. It loads fast, the buttons are the right sizes already, and the process for checkout is extremely smooth. But even if your site loads fast, there's another reason that people land on your page and immediately leave without buying, which leads us to reason number 2. Your product page has zero trust signals. So let me tell you about Bill. He ran a cleaning business for 7 years in Australia. The physical work was destroying his hands and shoulders. And when he launched his dropshipping store and started running ads, he got clicks, but hardly any sales. And one of our mentors, Kingy, looked at his product page and realized he needed better trust signals, things like reviews, guarantees, and apps that show social proof. And once they fixed the page and dialed in all of his campaigns, the same ad spend that was losing money started making money. And he went from survival mode to 20,000 Australian dollars in his first 3 months. And he didn't win because he had a magic product. He won because he made his store trustworthy. And another student, Jordan, he tested a product for 3 days. And at first, his conversion rate was 1.49%. But instead of giving up on the product, he made a couple of tweaks to the website. He kept the ads the same. He just made a few changes to the product page. And guess what? His conversion rate jumped to 3%, which led to over $500,000 in sales. And look, if he'd given up on it at 1.49%, he would have walked away from a winner. And that's how important trust signals are. Fix it, and you could go from 1 out of 100 visitors buying to 3 people buying. And that's 3 times the revenue from the same traffic and the same ad spend. Even a small improvement in trust signals can triple your conversions. And the average conversion rate for an e-commerce store is 2%. So if you're getting 3 to 4%, you're doing well. And if you're getting over 4%, you're literally crushing it. Let's test if you have this problem. Go and pull up your Shopify analytics. Look at your bounce rate. If more than 60% of people are leaving without clicking anything, then the chances are that you have a trust problem. Check how long people stay on your page. If the average session is under 30 seconds, they're not sticking around long enough to read anything. They took one look and decided you're not worth their time. Also, it's worth looking at your add to cart rate. If less than 5% of visitors are adding to the cart, then that page isn't convincing them. Next, scroll through your product page and count all the trust elements that you see. Do you have reviews, badges, guarantees, social proof, and real customer photos? And if you count less than 5, then you still have some work to do. But no worries, we can fix that now. First, get your customer reviews up. Use the apps such as Looks or Vitals, and these both work with Shopify. Even if you're just starting, you can import the reviews from the suppliers or add seed reviews following the platform guidelines. But don't just dump reviews at the bottom. Place star ratings near your product title and price, because that's what people see first. Sprinkle customer testimonials near your benefits section. Put real customer photos near your add to cart button. People trust other people. If they see 10 reviews saying this actually works, they're way more likely to buy. Second, add trust badges near the checkout. I'm talking about payment security badges, a money back guarantee badge, secure checkout icons, and put logos like Norton Secured, SSL Secure, and payment logos like Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, and PayPal right under the add to cart button. because that's where people get nervous about their credit cards. These tell people your payment is safe, this isn't a scam website. Third, you want to show social proof numbers. 1,247 people viewed this in the last 24 hours, or 342 sold this week. So this shows your product is popular and people want what other people want. Apps like Vitals can do this automatically. They track real visitors and display the counts. And fourth, make your guarantee impossible to miss. Put it big and obvious right under your add to cart button. And he might say 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not happy, we'll refund you, no questions asked. So this removes the risk. People see these and think, okay, worst case, I'll get my money back, so I'll give it a shot. This is why we try to make our students' lives a lot easier by giving them a custom theme with trust signals already built in, like review section, badge placement, and social proof apps. They just need to customize it with their actual product. Reason number 3, your pricing strategy sucks. I've seen people price a product at $19.99 because they think being cheap will get them more sales. Or others, they price it at $79.99 because they saw a competitor do it, but they have no idea if that actually works. And both approaches can literally destroy your business. When you price too low, yeah, you do make sales, but after you pay for the product, shipping, transaction fees, and ads, you're left with maybe $3 or $4 and sometimes less. And you can't scale on $3. You can't test new creatives. You can't handle a refund without feeling the pinch. One bad week, and you're in the red. If your margins are garbage, you can burn through weeks of work only to realize they're making $200 a month. That's not a business. That's a stressful side hustle that barely pays for lunch, if you ask me. On the flip side, if you price too high without positioning yourself properly, people will compare your $70 product to the $35 version on Amazon and think you're ripping them off. They leave. Your ads cost the same, but no one's buying. Your cost per acquisition goes through the roof. Pricing is your problem if you look at your profit per sale after all costs and you're making less than $15 profit per sale. Or if your conversion rate is under 1.5% and your price is higher than your competitors, then your price might be scaring people off. And if you're doing just a 2 times markup, then you're already in trouble. Because once you factor in ad spend, transaction fees, Shopify fees, payment processing, app subscriptions, you're barely breaking even. For example, let's say your product costs $5 and shipping is $3, then that's $8 total. You sell it for $20 and then you make $12. We all wish that's how it works, but no. Because Facebook charges you $5 to get that customer. Shopify then takes fees for the transactions, and it's about 2.9% plus 30 cents every transaction. So that's 88 cents. PayPal or Stripe takes another cut. Now you're down to about $6 profit, but you're also paying for Shopify at $30 a month. And apps, they're maybe eating another $50 a month off your budget. So if you're only making $6 per sale, you need to sell so much just to cover the fixed costs. And that's assuming everything goes perfectly. No refunds, no chargebacks, no customer service issues. Which, because we live in the real world, never happens, right? This is why we use 3x rule. It means your price should be at least 3 times your total cost. And if your positioning is premium, then you can go 4x. This is important because you need margin to scale. You need room to spend on ads, to test creatives, to run promos and discounts, and to buffer for refunds and chargebacks. If you're only pricing at 2x, yes, you might make sales, but then there's no profit to reinvest. And if you can't reinvest, then you can't scale. This is why we walk our students through the exact pricing formula. We show them how to calculate costs, how to position premium products, and how to test prices without hurting conversions. And one of the key things we teach is that people don't just buy on price, they buy on value. So if your store looks more professional, if you have better images, if your descriptions explain the benefits very clearly, if you have great reviews and trust signals, then people will pay more. Look at Apple, for example. It's the most expensive brand in tech, but people still buy iPhones over the cheaper Androids. And you can do the same thing on a smaller scale. To justify higher prices, you want to use high quality product images, not the generic supplier photos. You can create your own or hire someone on Upwork to edit them and make them feel premium. Next, write better descriptions. Focus on the benefits, not the features, and explain how this improves their life. Add trust signals, which we already covered earlier. Make sure your reviews, your guarantees, and your social waterproof are spot on. Position yourself as a brand, not just a store. Have a very strong About Us page and clear brand identity. Make it feel like a real business, not just a random dropshipping site. And when you do this, people won't even compare your price to the competitors. They'll see your store as premium and they'll pay so much more. Now, there's one more problem that will cost you sales every time someone lands on your page. This is reason number 4. You have no email capture or cart abandonment strategy. If you don't have email capture, cart abandonment emails, or post-purchase follow-up, you're leaving about 20 to 30% of revenue on the table. And you know what that means? That's thousands of dollars a month that you're losing. Say you get 100 visitors a day, then that's $3,000 a month. So if your conversion rate is 2%, that means 60 people buy and 2,940 leave without buying. Of those 2,940 who didn't buy, let's say 70% added something to the cart but didn't complete the purchase. And that's massive. That's 2,058 people who were interested enough to add something to the cart but they left. And without email capture, these people are gone forever. But if you capture the email and send cart abandonment emails, you can recover 10 to 20% of those people. And that's about 300 to 400 additional customers per month. If your average order value is $30, then that's $9,000 to $12,000 in additional monthly revenue. Your cart abandonment strategy is definitely lacking if you have low repeat purchase rates. If less than 10% of the customers come back and buy again, this means you're not following up enough. You're treating every customer like a one-time transaction instead of building a list. To set it up, use an email platform. Klaviyo is popular, but Sendvio is another good option, especially if you're just starting. Sendvio is built for Shopify and it's a lot cheaper than Klaviyo. And in Ecom Warrior Academy, we recommend Sendvio because it's simpler to set up and integrates seamlessly. Next, set up an email capture pop-up. This pops up when someone lands on your store. Offer something enticing in exchange for their email. Usually a 10% off first purchase works well here. And you can set this up using Privy or just Uno, but most email platforms have the pop-up feature built in. Next, set up cart abandonment emails. When someone adds to cart but doesn't buy, you automatically send them an email. Here's a sample sequence. 1 hour after they abandoned the cart, remind them they left something. Link back to their cart, and you want to make sure you keep it short and friendly. 24 hours later, send a gentle reminder with urgency. You might say your cart is about to expire, or the items in your cart are selling out fast. Then 48 hours later, you want to then offer a small discount to close the deal. It might be complete your order now and save 10%. This sequence can recover 15 to 20% of abandoned carts, and it's fully automated. So just set it up once and it runs forever. And after someone buys, don't forget about them. Send a thank you email, ask for a review, suggest related products. And this builds loyalty and increases the chances they'll buy again, which means you're going to make more profit. An email isn't just about recovering abandoned carts. It's about building a list of people interested in your products. And then over time, as your list grows, you send them promos, new products, and limited time offers. And this turns one-time customers into repeat customers. Repeat customers are way more valuable than new customers because it costs way less to sell to someone who already bought than to find a brand new customer through ads. So email isn't a nice to have, it's a must have if you want to scale. If you're thinking this sounds complicated, I don't know how to write emails, in Ecom Warrior Academy, we walk you through the entire process step by step, and we even give you the exact templates for the emails that you can just copy and paste. So if you want the full step-by-step system, the custom theme, the templates, the exact scripts, one-on-one mentoring where we review your store and tell you what to fix, then check out Ecom Warrior Academy. The link is below in the description. You can do this, and I'll see you in the next one.